Growing up in the orphanage definitely wasn't easy.
It was a lot different than what you probably experienced growing up.
It's but it made us who we are.
Two brothers just making it by each other's help, you know, trying to do what we can for each other and for ourselves, and making the world a better place.
I wouldn't say that we had what would be considered a formal education, but we taught each other what we know.
So honestly, we really didn't have an education. What we did, we had these programs where the teachers would come in to the boarding home, and it was Jasper, our next door neighbor, and Herschel, the guy upstairs. They were like they were our mentors, and what we learned from them is
farm to farm. It's not like we didn't have anything to look forward to. We had each other, and we were allotted time throughout the week for there was
jump rope time.
There was jump rope.
Remember that time Sister Jennifer let us borrow her hula hoop for 15 minutes?
That was a good day.
That was good. That was great.
There was skip.
It sounds a lot more boring than it actually was.
But when your week is strictly farm time, and you get these 10 precious minutes every Thursday to jump rope. That 10 minutes feels like it could last forever.
Sometimes,
but it only lasted 10 minutes. But it felt.
Sometimes though, you know, we would even sneak a little bit more time. 11 minutes. We had that one week. You remember that one week? We had jump rope time, skip, hula hoop day, and we were able to wear the roller skates in the house for 2 minutes. But every single little activity, we added an extra 30 seconds. So we actually got an extra 3.5 minutes of rec time for the whole week.
I remember one year we were brave enough to, when we were brave enough to ask Chris questions, he told us that sometimes children would leave like cookies and little things, trinkets and knitted items for Santa to collect and bring back with him, or if they're cookies, then he would eat them. We weren't allowed cookies at the orphanage. It was whatever the harvest could produce,
which usually ended up just being bread for us, because the harvest was left for mostly Herschel
and his family.
Yeah, and he took whatever we could reap, besides the bread. And so every day we had bread, and we were sometimes able to have a cup of water.
But cookies, I've never seen a crop yield of cookies.
Right, and until we, I don't know, what was it? A couple months ago when we.
Well, we were allowed when we were allowed to leave finally.
Well, yeah, once we made our way out of the orphanage, we saw these cookies and.
You thought, wow, that'd be. I don't know what that is.
Why do you need that?
We survived long enough off of corn and bread.
Right.
And water. Well, minimal. While although minimal, delicious. And we are thankful, Chris, and Herschel for all the gifts that you've given us over the years. Mostly the gift of life, which you reminded us of constantly. Brother, do you remember the time that we found that waterfall?
Oh, so there was one point, it was, what was that, 1995 or 6? 1996, I want to say. So, you know, we were young little kids.
It was what, like 10 Chris's ago?
No, longer than that.
Was it?
Yeah, it was probably about 16 or 17 Chris's ago.
So that's 16 or 17 Chris's ago?
Yeah. So what happened was, it was the middle of the summer, very hot, and we had been farming for 6 straight days at that point, and the water supply was just diminishing and diminishing and diminishing. So we had all this bread to eat, but no water to wash it down. Oh my goodness. So we're thinking, Brother David, Brother Alin, what are we going to do about not having this water?
It's necessary. It's life-giving.
Right. So while we were out sowing seeds, we heard some kind of rush. Sounded like a rush of water. So, obviously, we're going to go investigate.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the edge of the yard. We step foot, one tiny foot, onto our neighbor's property, and
that was it.
We got zapped.
We always wondered what the collars were for.
We didn't know why we had those collars on.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, we learned our lesson, and we hope that we're forgiven for the trespassing that we committed.
Please forgive us, Chris.
Still wonder what that waterfall would have been like.
Oh, I imagine it would have been nice.
So, why are we doing what we're doing? Well, as good as the orphanage sounds, we know that there's always something better out there. And we want to share that with the kids of today, all throughout the country.
You guys see the thing that stood out the most about the orphanage to us was every year an adult, a male, an outsider would approach the orphanage in a red suit, and he would bring us presents, gifts, he called them. So, and this happened. We were in the orphanage for many years.
What was it? 22 years we were there.
Well, we're 17 now, so it's like a little bit more, a little bit less than that, than how old we are. So, for however long we were in the orphanage, the years kind of blended together. We didn't get calendars, we didn't get timepieces, watches.
Except for like jump rope time and skip and stuff like that.
We would have to keep track of what day it was by this man showing up. In a way, he became what we prayed to.
So as we got a little bit older and a little bit more mature and started understanding things a little bit better, we kind of put two and two together after asking him, who are you?
Who are you? What is your name?
Why do you do this? What is your aim here? What is your goal? And we found out his name was Christopher Kringle, aka Santa Claus, and his purpose was just to spread joy and cheer and merriness throughout the land. And
it was the only time that we really felt
new and alive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we had been given a fresh beginning.
Sure,
every year.
Skip was great, fine, but it was nothing compared to the emotions that flowed through us when Chris would enter into our lives for that one day.
Yeah, for a while we were just calling it Chris Day, and we had no idea that this was going to be something on the same day every year that we would be ending up celebrating, and that the whole nation would celebrate. And so once we found out that other people celebrated this day as Christmas,
it seemed only appropriate.
That was the time when we figured we need to act upon this now.
Mm-hmm.
And so here we are. From that feeling of rebirth and renewal, that's the first time we really knew what a birthday was. Like we said, we didn't have any way of keeping track of time or anything.
No, we kept track of the years by when Chris would show up. That's how we knew. That's how we knew it was an extended period of time. We didn't know what a year was. At the time we didn't know minutes, hours.
All we knew was farm, and it was just really the crop yield of the year, and we would have to figure out the ratios and the calculations of how much we were going to make for the orphanage.
The harvest.
The harvest, yeah. So we want to give back the way that Chris gave back. He, all his life apparently, for longer than we would ever be able to imagine.
Or you.
He has been going around to all the orphanages and all the homes of children in America, delivering toys and presents and useful things such as rakes and hose and batteries to all the kids in the world, in America. And so this year we want to celebrate for Chris and allow Chris to celebrate by himself and with his wife by not having to go and deliver all night long. We want to do that for him.
We want to give Chris the day off. We want to let him relax and remember what it's like to be wonderful.
Think about it. How many days are there in a year?
I don't even know.
Whatever it is.
I don't know, brother.
He works all those days. And
making toys.
The culmination of all that work,
batteries,
is just a trip around the United States.
For what, 12 hours?
And that's just not fair for one person to have to do that every year.
It's not, brother. So, for that one day, we want to give him the day off. And with your help, to all you guys out there right now, we can do that together. Because Chris deserves it. Let's do this for Chris. Let's do this for all the boys and girls in all the orphanages.
Who only know farm and jump rope time and skip and hula hooping and roller skate wearing day.
There's more to life than sorting through hay. Just bushels of hay. And I think it's all time that we take a moment and just thank Chris for everything he's done for us the last somewhere between 17 and 20 years.
Happy birthday, Chris. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Our third brother.
Our Father, who art in North Pole, hallowed be the name. Thy kingdom doth come, which will be done, on earth as it is in North Pole. Give us this bread every day, and forgive us for trespassing when we were in the orphanage. Please forgive us. Please bite our heart. Please